So Naspers recently announced that it's going to take its global internet businesses of Tencent and Mail.ru in Russia and Brazilian businesses and going to be putting them into a new entity which they want to list on the Euronext exchange in Amsterdam. The idea being that it will close what's called the discount between the price you pay for a Naspers share to get access to Tencent in Hong Kong and what Tencent really trades at, for example. Now, Takealot.com is an internet business. You're not going to be part of that, or are you?
No, we're not. So I'm probably not the best person to talk to this.
Well, if you're upset about it, you would be.
No, so I'm actually no, not at all. So we focused on building our business here, and eventually trying to get into the African continent. And I think the process that Naspers has gone through is fantastic. What they're trying to do is great. The fact that we sit back in South Africa together with Media24 shows their commitment to the country. They continue to invest in us, and they're investing in a lot of other places as well to continue their investment in South Africa. They're not leaving South Africa. They, as I say, they have backed us and continue to back us. So, do we feel left out? No, not in the least bit, actually.
We saw Nigeria's biggest internet business list on the Nasdaq in the last couple of weeks. I mean, you just rolled your eyes a little bit. I mean, are you skeptical of what they're doing? Because they called the Amazon of Africa. That must have burnt you a little bit, considering that you don't seem to have much respect for them.
No, it's not that I don't have respect for them. I do have respect for the fact that they've actually gone out and built a business in difficult markets. They've called themselves the largest e-commerce. They've actually been very good in choosing their words. They're the largest e-commerce company that is in multiple geographies in South Africa.
In Africa?
In Africa, okay. They aren't larger than us. In fact, they're a lot smaller than us. In fact, they're probably about roughly 25% of our revenue. So it's a different type of business. Good luck to them. They've got a small fashion business in South Africa, Zalando. I don't know what their ambitions are. I'm sure they're huge in Africa. Should they be listed? Somebody else can make a call on that and invest or not invest.
How does that then inform the way you think about growing Takealot.com? The opportunity perhaps for a separate listing, the opportunity to put it into that Euronext exchange to raise capital for growth on this continent. Because if you already are the big gorilla on this continent, more capital could see bigger expansion across more territories.
So look, what's very interesting for me about the Jumia listing is the fact that there seems to be appetite for Africa. Okay, so that's something that we've noticed. As far as listings are concerned, that's above my pay grade. Somebody else will make a decision.
You actually work for it. Yes.
Exactly. So it's not something we aspire to. Really, we started this business 9 years ago to build a sustainable e-commerce business and successful e-commerce business.
Okay, so you've done that now?
Well, not yet. We've got a long way to go.
You're not profitable. I mean, after 9 years, you're still not profitable, and that's really doing the hard yards of the internet startup business. It requires an incredible amount of capital to get to a point where you can start making profits. We've seen it with Uber, which is recently listed. We've seen it with Lyft. We've seen it with so many technology businesses.
I think where so e-commerce is incredibly capital intensive because there's physical assets that you require. When you look at the warehousing you require, the logistics side of things, there is a capital intensive requirement and it takes a while to get to profitability. We're not scared of that because we've had an ongoing plan and we're hitting our numbers as we go year from year. So we're on a good path to profitability.
So 9 years, no profits. At what point do the numbers suggest you will be profitable?
Yeah, so Takealot will be there in the next 2 years.
Okay.
Superbly should be there in a similar time frame. Mr. D Food's different in that, strangely enough, it's less capital intensive, so we can put more money into it, and there's a great opportunity. So it really depends on how fast you want to grow and how big you want to grow, which means we have ambitions.
So how fast and how big do you want to grow?
So Mr. D Food, I reckon, should be
across the board.
So across the board, I would say, Mr. D Food, from a market share point of view in time, it is the largest today. In online delivery.
But it's facing Uber Eats and it's facing
it's in a different market as well. It's in food delivery and it's in food, really. So when you look at Mr. D Food, what is it actually? Is it a food delivery business? Is it a platform? Is it more than that? Does it look at adjacents like actual food production? there's a lot of opportunity around that. So it'll evolve, and it'll evolve over time. At the moment, we're concentrating on the core, which is food delivery, and we'll grow it, and we'll grow it aggressively. Mr. D Food has grown, over 100% year on year. It's not small. It's doing 600,000 deliveries a month.
What about Superbalist? What about Takealot? I mean, is Takealot the Amazon of Africa, the real Amazon of Africa?
So,
will it kick Jumia's butt?
Look, I'm not going to, as I say, I'm not going to do the Jumia thing. As far as what we're doing in Africa, we're the largest e-commerce company in Africa. Takealot on its own. Okay, if you put it together with Superbalist, we're even larger than that. And all of it. So Takealot is the most progressed of all the businesses, and but we'll still continue to grow at 30, 40, 50% year on year. So that's a continued ambition. Superbalist is growing faster than that, and will continue to grow faster than that. It's probably 3 to 5 years behind Takealot. So it still has a lot of growth to go. And then Mr. D Food is kind of the new kid on the block.
What scares you? Does an Amazon entry scare you? Does Jack Ma arriving on your doorstep saying, actually, we see the internet opportunity in Africa, we're going to take Takealot down? Those have got to be the big threats.
Look, all of those scare me because, we're in a market where we don't have the big gorillas around head-to-head with us. Amazon is an amazing company. Can we compete with them? Sure. We're on our home turf, and if you have a look at what's happening in India today, Walmart have bought out Flipkart, and they're competing head-to-head with Amazon. So there's no reason why you can't compete with those. Alibaba's the same. Also a fantastic company, different. And I'm not sure about the African ambitions, and Africa's a tough place to do business. And growth rates are where they are today in Africa. To answer your question again, I wouldn't say it scares us. It would concern us. That's
well, leave it
really
there. Concerned is good. Reid is the Chief Executive Officer of Takealot.com. 9 years in the business of getting people to buy stuff on the internet and get it delivered, and still not profitable. 2 years to go. Maybe in 2 years' time, team, we'll be back to see whether or not he's reached that target. Thank you for watching. Taking stock on ENCA. Till next time. Bye-bye.